Hello, everyone. A good beginning creates a good ending. But if it's a happy story, let it continue. Wishing you all a happy, prosperous, and joyful year ahead. Starting this year with yet another interesting episode of WIP FM 113.0 makes me feel so happy and excited. Welcome to the fourth episode of WIP FM 113.0, organized by IEEE Power and Energy Society Young Professionals Women in Power. This is a monthly talk show intended to introduce eminent leaders and experts from power and energy sector and the various opportunities in this field to give you the inspiration, encouragement and motivation towards achieving your dream as well as ways to sustain your passion. I'm really excited to host this special episode of WIP FM 113.0 and introduce to you a very dynamic person from power and energy sector, a woman who has been in the renewable energy and operations domain for more than 30 years, a driving force for government agencies and organizations in regards to reducing risks, staying ahead of upcoming legislation, and delivering industry-wide transformations. She is now currently the Vice President of Grid Services at GridX Partners, Great Boston. It's none other than Dr. Jessica Bian. We are very happy to have you with us, Jessica. Welcome to this talk show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Right. I know you don't require an introduction as you're a well known person in IEEE as well as in the industry. But for sort of a traditional custom for our young listeners and viewers, can you give a brief introduction about yourself, touching upon your educational and cultural background?
Sure, I'd be glad to. I was born in the southern part of China. The city is called Suzhou. It's about 65 miles from Shanghai. I came to the States, United States America, for my PhD, and I think mainly it's probably my curiosity. I could go to other places for my higher education, but I decided to come to the States. Like I said, it's a big change for me, but I was just kind of ready. I wanted to see what's different here. So it's been more than 30 years, and I want to say America is a great place. It gives people opportunity to try different things. This is kind of big takeaway. We could try different things, say for a couple of years, and if I don't like it, I just move on. So I will tell you more about my professional kind of path, and you'll see it. I move to different organizations just for my curiosity, see how it works, then decide where to stay. And to me, I think throughout all those 30 years, I kind of think I find myself. I'm still trying to find more about myself, who I am, and I feel that we are all born with different genes, different family and culture. We have different friends, graduate from different schools. We have different professors, mentors, and different companies that we'll work with, and keep trying things. And like I said, you may find things you like to do. And another thing I like to say is because these differences, and I respect all the differences. I think everyone brings a different value and strength and to the team and to the company or to any organization. And if you do find things you like and put, I think the experts that put about 10,000 hours into it, and you'll find the things you like to do, you'll be very good at it. And once you put those hours, you don't feel it's a labor. It's just something you can do it very well and very easily. So I think that's how I feel. I was like, I came here with a completely different culture and background, and now I try the different things. I think I find what I love to do, and which makes me very happy.
That's really wonderful to know. Finally, you have achieved what you really wanted, and 30 years in this sector is a remarkable achievement. And I assume it would have been really wonderful and, of course, diverse, So, how has it been? Would you mind elaborating on the different responsibilities held? What are your current focus areas? So, this will give our viewers an idea on how differently they can reroute their career.
Yeah, great question. So like I said earlier, it's mainly for my curiosity, and I've been with the power and energy industry for 30 years. I continually find new things I can try, and different things with the new calling from society, from public. Like we know we have clean energy calling for last 20 years. Now we have a climate change calling. It's going to continue probably for next 20 to 30 years. So things are changing like outside of myself, and how would I be adapt to it, right? How would I meet my needs, and also say, here's my, I'm curious how things work. So I like to summarize my career like within 30 years. It's more like I like to use a airline industry analogy to sum up my experience. So after my graduate study in early 90s, I joined a manufacturer firm called Westinghouse Electric in Florida. So I designed, tested generators and power electronics inverters, and published technical papers, particularly the IEEE transactions. So that was I joined IEEE and PES when I was at graduate school. So immediately I find out, yeah, whatever I was doing, I can share my work, share my research readouts with the peers and coworkers, and I can also learn a lot from the industry, from academia, by reading their papers, by going to the conferences. And in 1996, here in the States, electric utilities got deregulated. So then I said, okay, let me try something different. So I became an operations engineer. Instead of working in the manufacturer firm, I joined a two grid control centers, one in Texas. Yes, it's called ERCOT. Another one in Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania, called PJM. So using the airline analogy, I designed the planes, I designed the generators, inverters, and all that, and tested planes, and flew the planes because I work in the control center. I know how the electrons flow, how to manage the different challenges, and the different weather condition and operating condition. And then I work in the two air traffic control towers for 10 years. Like I said, ERCOT and PJM. In 2003, you probably all know that we had a big, huge blackout event along the Northeast. So U.S. Congress passed a bill 2 years later and mandated federal regulators called FERC to develop standards, mandate the reliability standards. The FERC, like my analogy, like Federal Aviation Administration is a Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They are the regulators for public utilities. So that kind of got me contacted or involved with the regulators directly. So it seems like whatever happens on the operation day-to-day basis, reliability basis, there's a connection to the regulators. That kind of raised my curiosity again. So I joined a NERC, a reliability standards a organization in 2007, because like I said, US Congress passed the law says we have to have a standards, and this particular organization called NERC, they were designated to come up with a draft reliability standards, and they saw I had a operations experience at ERCOT and PJM. They offered me a position in 2007. So I was very new, one of the new employees at that organization. So I was tasked to build its benchmarking team or program, like metrics, indicators to see is the reliability going is doing better with the standards or going worse with the standards. So I felt was very challenging because we didn't have any program or any indicators at that time. Not just North America, entire world. We don't have. I mean, on the distribution reliability side, we had lots of indicators, but on transmission side, we didn't have any. So after 5 years in 2012, and NERC, and with lots of support from industry, so we were able to um, get 18 reliability metrics established with the data collection guidelines. We also had a analytics team, so we also published the first North American wide industry report on state of reliability. Then in 2014, I joined FERC, like I said again, the curiosity. In 2019, I was elected as a IEEE president-elect. Same year, I joined the consulting firm Great X Partners. So in summary, I know the landscape of power and energy field. Using the airline analogy again, I designed the plane, tested plane, flew planes, and direct air traffic and regulated airline industry. Does that help?
Yes, definitely. That's a very huge experience that you've got, and congratulations for the remarkable achievements. I think this would definitely inspire our young engineers who are listening to this. So, being in the field of power and energy, right from the start of your professional life, how has it been for women? What are your views on women's growth and participation over the years in this sector?
Yeah, that's right. So kind of the question you asked is very close to my heart. I think like any industry, if there's lots of heavy machinery, heavy labor, the women participation kind of behind. So just think of the history when power industry started more than 100 years ago, actually about 140 years ago. It involved lots of heavy machinery, right? Think about gigantic generators, and if you go to those power plants, you'll see the huge blades, and they all require heavy labors, and therefore men, because they obviously are better from the physical um, point of view, right? They're much stronger and they can do these heavy labor work much easier compared with the women. So it was a division of who did what. It's not a right or wrong. That's how I see it. It's just how we evolved throughout the history. Now with the technology and we use machines to lift and move things around. So I think that has given a lot of equal opportunity to us, to women. It helped create a level playing field in the last 50 years. So I see more women get into the field, and particularly with the modern technologies, we can talk about more on that. With AIs and data analytics, we don't need those heavy machinery anymore. So I see there's a great future for more women and to get into. I mean, it's just not women, but for everyone, tons of opportunities there for us to get into this industry, power and energy industry.
That's really wonderful to know. And we know that diversity and inclusion is now one of the key performance indicators of every organization. Some companies have around 10% female staffs, while others have been able to achieve more than 20 or 25 percentage. But however, the energy sector is still considered male dominant. So one reason could be because of this heavy machineries, as you mentioned. But then, according to a report from the International Renewable Energy Agency published in March, women are still underrepresented in the renewable energy sector. Gender inequality is most evident at decision making levels. So, what, according to you, are the challenges faced by women to enter into the power and energy sector? And what could be the reason for a low representation of women in senior management positions? And what can we do about it?
Yeah, so I see that I mean, like what you're doing, right? Highlight what we do, particularly from women's perspective, and we like to find the role models, representations, and focus on the diversity. At PS, we have great leaders. We had several. We never had a woman as the chair for the annual general meeting, but we had one this year. We also had the women leading the PES or IEEE signature conference called a transmission distribution conference and exposition. So that was led by women. So all these things we have to be kind of conscious, and to there are plenty of women leaders in this industry. Yes, if we look at the numbers, there are still a very small sets of women leaders, but I think if we consciously and focus on diversity and look at um, where we can find the best qualified women to lead these kind of initiatives, events. And I think we'll get there much sooner. And at the last Women in Power, I think you were part of the leaders organizing the young professional and Women in Power Summit. And I said, according to the study, that we actually moved along at a relative faster pace, but particularly in recent years. Just think about it, right? We had the human history has been more than 5,000 years, but when we look at how women participate in political systems, about 100 years ago, here in the States, women got the right to vote, and it was just recent, like 100 years ago. So it will take us another 50 to 100 in some parts of the world, maybe 200 years to get totally equal, like whatever man's doing. So it's going to take some time, because how we evolved and how history, because that's just not a traditional way that we're doing things. But with more women getting into the field, I know lots of a good presidents and CEO in the States are women. So we wanted them to come to our conferences and meetings, and so they could be a role model and could inspire the next generation, our daughters, our granddaughters, to participate and to come to join this industry.
That's actually very true that we do require role models like you, for example, who can inspire our young engineers to come forward and take up the responsibilities. There should be no barrier between girl or boy. So you will have to understand your own capability and understand the potential and take up the additional responsibility. So that, I feel, can take you higher up in the career ladder.
Yeah, well
And
said. Yeah.
And people always think of making their life easy and smooth. They try to avoid any hiccups that hinder their growth. You have been in the industry for a long time, and you would have had different experiences at every stage of your career. You would have been more than happy to hear there were no challenges, but there should be at least one or two instances where you might have been perplexed over a choice to make or face a tough situation. Do you recall any kind of specific challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the technical challenges would be less compared with, say, being a leader, try to build consensus, move the team forward. I think that's always been my challenge, and I try to learn how to, um, throughout my career, I try to learn how to get team together and then build consensus and move towards a common goal. And whatever we decide as an organization, as a society, and I try to be open-minded and then take all the perspectives in it. And the way that I've learned over the years is that I know the research. I also, I think, share this with all of you. I try to look at the other's perspective and put myself into others' shoes. And that's how I see the connections built. It's not about one individual. It's a common a kind of cause and link us and connect us all together. And when we are connected, the energy that exists between the people, between all of us, and that's the key to move us forward. So I like to use the connection definition by defined by Dr. Brene Brown. She's a research scientist. She says connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive strength from the relationship. So to me, I've had lots of challenges, but when every time I kind of hit the roadblock, I would think her definition is like, okay, there's no judgment here, and I think, and I also believe that humans are connection-seeking systems. As a leader, I wanted to engage, connect, but without judgment. I want to feel everyone to be seen, heard, and valued.
That's a very
And
valid point.
yeah, and
Yeah.
connect the folks, the team with a bigger picture and give them the right tools and provide them the space to explore and grow. So that's how I know we have challenges every day, all kinds of the issues, problem we try to solve. And the way I always take back and think, how can I do it? This is kind of my guideline is, and this is the connection guideline. I try to make sure that everyone they feel to be seen, heard, and valued, and I can give them the right tool and help them to succeed and grow.
Very wonderfully said. So, Jessica, you mentioned a lot about having good connections. So, apart from having this sort of connection in your professional, what, according to you, should women do in order to be a technical leader?
Right. The way I see it, like I said earlier, we are different. There's like no one right or wrong approach. But the way I approach it is I another I think I can add is the reason I joined a PS about 30 years ago is that I find there's a need. Right? I want to write a paper. I want to present. I want to get to know my colleagues. So throughout the last 30 years, the PS has been kind of my support system. So that's, I mean, every time I have technical issues, let's say I don't know and don't understand energy storage, I can talk to my friends within that technical committee, and they can help me to understand the current market, the pros and cons, and different technology. So to me is the connection with my friends and colleagues at a workplace, particularly at the PES and IEEE level, and that helped me to grow. Help me to grow. Another way I like to say it, I think our style, the women's style, is we help others. We rise by lifting others. So it's not that I go be a technical leader, but we actually help others. So the entire team, entire organization will grow. And then we rise. I think it's that everybody else grow, then we arise. So that's the way that I approach things. That's the way I lead the team. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yes, it does. So I also agree to your point that you grow and also help other and your colleagues as well to grow. So with that, we make a very good team who can bring a very good change to the society. So coming back to the point of women representation in this sector, we see a lot of women taking career breaks, either to support family or for their personal well being, or it could be some other reasons. And I've also heard a lot on the work life balance. And recently, people have corrected me saying it's work life integration and not exactly the balance between the two. So, do you think it will be hard for women to come back to this field after a break? So, if so, what kind of preparations they can take to arrest the career break challenges?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have been in different organizations. I think the way that I've been dealt with it is I talk to my folks, my supervisors, my management, and most of them they understand our challenges. Let's say have I want to take a maternity leave, or I want to take care of my family members, or for personal reasons. A lot of organizations they also have those flexible hours, and you can say take a leave. Um, for instance, you have say 2 weeks leave, and I've been, like I said, work with my team, and I request the supervisor to see if I can break that up instead of take off 14 days. Can I break it up? Let's say I take 4 hours each day, but continue and extend longer so I can take care of my baby or my family members. So those are the things to me is for an organization to keep the 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 folks around, and you wanted to provide these flex hours so that when they have challenges at the personal level, and the organizations can accommodate. And like I said, most organizations I work for, they all offer that benefits. And so when let's say when you are out of the school and you want to ask, when you join a particular organization, you can ask them, do they have that kind of flexibility? This is not just for a lady or women, a man could do the same thing, because it's all one set of rule. Here's the hours you can leave and take, and can I break that into like smaller chunk and take that leave so I can extend. And like I said, most of organization they can accommodate that. If they can't, I would say you probably want to find some other companies, not this particular one, that they don't offer that kind of benefit or flexibility.
Okay, that I think that the organizations giving flexible hours for both men and women is really wonderful. And as you said, it makes our life easy to manage things at home and also at work. And as you rightly said, if they don't offer, and I think that's not your cup of tea, you can always choose another organization or a company that can offer you such flexible hours or any kind of similar incentives. So in
Yes.
IEEE, yeah. So in IEEE, we do have this returning mothers conference, wherein women with career break are given a support to come back to the workplace. It's not just related to the power and energy, but in general. So, are there any other specific programs in IEEE or in your organization supporting such initiatives?
Yeah, like I said, in the IEEE, I have not heard a particular like for like young professional, right? Women in power program, but I know that all the uh, like women in power and all that, we always open. A lot of people they want to take a break because out of their busy schedule, and they can always come back to the IEEE or PES or any other volunteer activities. So there's no restriction or anything like that. And once you have the experience, once you wanted to do things, want to help out, the IEEE is always embracing all the volunteers and try to meet volunteers' needs and accommodate the schedule. At the organizational level, like I said, most of the organizations I work for, and they see your value, they see what each individual can bring to the organization, so they're willing to work with each of us and try to accommodate our challenges and meet our needs.
That's actually again really wonderful to know that. So now I would like to little dive into some technical part. So recently we have been hearing a lot on digital technologies. Every sector is now getting digitalized. How do you feel this can impact the modern electric grid? What are the various opportunities available in this area? If you could also touch upon the skills needed to pursue a career in digitalization, that would help our young engineers climb up their career ladder.
Yeah, sure. The like you said, the future of electric grids will not only integrate high penetration renewables, but also accommodate millions and millions of diverse intelligent devices connect to the at the grid edge. So it could range from distributed energy resources to networks of EV chargers to the smartphone technologies. The current grid will need to adapt significantly by deploying data analytics, AI, new energy management systems, and other digital tools in the next 2 decades. So I would say opportunities everywhere. Not only at the technical level, we also need a, um, a non-traditional power system engineers or scientists or mathematicians to come and help us to advance the clean energy future and also ensure the grid reliability and make it resilient and flexible. So it's going to take all of us, the professors, the students, the policymakers, politicians, economists, like I said, accountants, mathematicians, because this industry, the electricity is a basic service. So we need all of us, including, of course, engineers, okay, um, to work together so we can advance the clean energy future and build a better tomorrow.
So something to add on to it, you said you have been working with grid reliability and resilience for quite some time. How has the opportunities changed for people working in this domain?
Excellent question. So just think about how kind of PS evolved. We had a transmission distribution conference exposition for a while. So that's kind of our grid. Okay, we have the superhighways transmission. We also have some byways like transmission. Now we're connecting with all the resources, traditional generators with different fuel types. Now we're adding more, like wind and solar, storage, green hydrogen in the future, all that coming in. So we need to, while we're taking all the new things coming to our plate, including the customer choices, right? They can have a solar rooftop, they can have their own things, and they can have the interaction with the grid, with traditional grid. All those we have to take them in. At the meanwhile, we have to keep the lights on, ensure the reliability. And of course, if you look at the policymakers, while we're keeping our lights on and taking all the new things into the T&D, we also need to keep the rates low so that everybody can enjoy this wonderful service or enjoy electricity, enjoy this clean energy supply. So all that, it's a great either opportunity you could call it, or it's a great challenge for next 10, 20, or 30 years. So that is why, and know that we have lots of more extreme weather the coming. So to make grid resilient, not just affordable, reliable, we also need to make it more resilient. So under extreme conditions, and we could lose some electricity or power, but not at the big scale that we have seen, like the one in February in Texas
Texas.
or some other, yeah, like a wildfire in California. So all those things we can kind of minimize the scale, and we need to find a way to make grid more resilient and more flexible so we can accommodate all kinds of new resources, clean, especially the clean resource into the grid. So we want to keep the highways and byways transmission distribution, right? Make it more flexible so we can accommodate all those new things into, and plus the technology, sensors, robots, and all that coming into our grid, and still keep the lights on. So there are so many things that we have to work together to make it a bright, to make it better grid for everyone.
Yes, and I also feel that every year, or at least in the next 3 or 4 years, the electric sector keeps changing, and this introduces quite a lot of opportunities for us to work and also contribute to this power and energy field. And right now, as Jessica also mentioned, digitalization is a very hot topic, and there are n number of opportunities in this sector which you can explore. I also personally feel this will be a very good opportunity for people or young professionals to start a career in this digital technology field. And,
Absolutely, yes. So because of that, what you said and what I mentioned, so PS will have the first, we call inaugural conference exposition to showcase the digital technology that's out there in the world. So we will have our first Great Edge conference and exposition in 2023. That would be in, I think it would be April. It's being scheduled in April, spring 2023, next year in San Diego. It will showcase not just our traditional technology for highways and byways. We will also have a technology showcase for all the digital tools and the things could help us to move faster and to accelerate our pace to a better grid tomorrow. I mean, for better grid. So, like I said, the conference is called Great Edge, IEEEPS Great Edge Technologies Conference and Exposition. So we would invite all the technology companies, particularly the digital companies like the Googles and other Microsoft, and come in to showcase the tools they have for our industry.
yeah, that sounds really exciting and interesting, and I really look forward to this conference. So it's in 2023 during spring. I hope that again will open quite a lot of good opportunities for everybody who wants to contribute to this power and energy field.
Yeah. Uh, n- Normally at the TND, Transmit Distribution Conference Expo, and at this new one, we have a job fairs. We also have a young professional women in power session, technical sessions, and social events. So please come in. And we're also exploring different types of maybe you can join us remotely. We're still working on that option right now. So once it's available, we'll let everybody know. So like you said, we want all the young professionals, women in power, and everyone to join us so we can work together and come up with the solutions and help to build a better tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. That's a strong yes from my side, and I hope that every young professional interested in the sector would definitely come forward and be a part of it. So We heard a lot about your professional journey. I would like to hear something about your volunteering activities, especially IEEE and Power and Energy Society. You mentioned you joined IEEE during your graduation time, and you must have been involved in quite a lot of initiatives till now because it's been a very long journey for you. But right now, what are the various initiatives that you're involved in, and how can the society members contribute to them?
Yeah, so like you, I joined Women in Power Online. It was just one click, it was simple, easy. I signed up to join Women in PS, Women in Power in 2012 online. When I registered for the 2012 PS general meeting, there was a checkbox that would you like to join the Women in Power and participate the reception and host a table like job fair and career table. I just simply checked the box as sure, I would love to. And from that day, from 2012 up to now, I've been part of the Women in Power, and I have been involved with every Women in Power activity since then at general meeting or TND. We always have the technical session and social events reception. So I got to know many of my friends. I would call that kind of forever bonding friends. Dr. Shay Baramirat, she was the original founder. She started the Women in Power in 2012. She's now the PS president-elect. So back to your point, there are just tons of opportunities there. So if you wanted to get involved and participate, and there's a great opportunity for you to become a leader and also to try different things and on the technical side, publication side, meeting side, or the leadership side. At the PS governing board, we have 6 women. That is about 26, more than 25% of um, the governing board members are women. So it's much higher than the general women um, members at the PS. So there's a very, yeah, I mean, excellent support from the society, from the governing board for ladies to succeed in the society. So I highly encourage you go to the Women in Power website, and also you can find the contact information for your regional representative and have a connection with them. Let them know you like to participate. Like I said, only probably sky is not even the limit, and just like what you're doing now, try different things, and you'll find yourself. You'll feel very comfortable wherever you ended up. Um,
Those
so
are
that's
really encouraging words, Jessica.
yeah, that's kind of I summarize my volunteer activity. Yeah.
And a wonderful journey as well for you. And I'm pretty sure that the Power and Energy Society has evolved a lot over the years, and we have been seeing a lot of events and programs these days. Are there any specific initiatives from the PES active right now which focuses on increased participation of women in this sector? If so, how can one get involved in such programs? Of course, Women in Power regional representatives is one such connection that you can make with. But apart from that, any other measures you would like to share?
Yeah, right. So we do have initiative. We're hoping to get it going in next few months. So the one particular one initiative we're working on is we like to have a open nomination appointments. We call it open nomination process. Right now, let's say if we have a PS officer position, for instance, vice president or secretary, president-elect, all those positions open. The nomination, I mean, anyone can send a nomination, but it's not like broadly publicized. So the new initiative would be and post all the role description, like what the president-elect would do, what secretary, PES secretary would do, like responsibilities with the terms, with the overview, and it will be posted on PS website. And then when the time for nomination comes in, we will have a PS e-newsletter or PS emails, and reach out to, for instance, all the members or all senior members, because most of the officer positions they require IEEE senior member status. I know you're a senior member, so please, yeah, you can self-nominate yourself, and or someone can nominate you, and through the link that we have, and there are few forms we need to fill out, or the if I want to nominate myself, I would fill out the form. What is my experience, how I can contribute, and what are my statements once I get in, how I can help the society. So there are a few like forms that each individual would be able to enter. Then it comes to a committee, and they will review that, and they will recommend a few candidates. Then we probably will have a interview, and then eventually we'll have 2 or 3 candidates and bring to the governing board to vote. And then we put them on the ballot, and we have election, or we just do appointments. So that's the open nomination process we like to kind of start it in next few months. And we're not there yet, but this is one of the initiatives we've been working on.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. What people can watch out for, and be curious to see what comes in for them in the next few months. And I'm quite happy to see that we have a lot of new and variety initiatives coming in. And initiating something or getting started is fine and really good. Out of curiosity and enthusiasm, we do it. But sustaining is the toughest part. You have been involved in various IEEE activities, you have your own job to do, and also to take care of the family. In spite of all these multiple roles that you handle, how do you ensure that you keep the level of passion constant for each of the engagements? What keeps you motivated in your work at IEEE?
Um, Good question. Let me go back a little bit. So the another thing I want to expand a little bit to your last question is, how do we have more diverse leadership, right? So I think another thing that I experienced is that when, like I said, I joined Women in Power in 2012. I think 2015 the PS governing board reached out to Women in Power, said, "Do you have any candidates?" And we have several positions like PS secretary, treasurer. Are they coming up for election? So Women in Power actually recommended me as a candidate to the governing board. So of course they have another other candidates they're looking at. So I was lucky enough they pick me, or they pointed me, or they put me on the ballot as the PES secretary candidate. So that is still going on. So let's say if Women in Power and sees that their members could be a great leader for these open positions, and the Women in Power could recommend you or other ladies, or even men, whoever is in that group, the Women in Power young professional, they can recommend the folks and to the governing board, said, or to the committee, says, we think this person is well qualified, and not just a self nomination, or any group, and can nominate their preferred candidate as well. So that's the add-on. So now come to your question is, what we have to do. It's like I said, it's I like to summarize it, that each individual has its own needs. So if we, let's say you feel that at the stage I like to publish more papers on the academic level, you probably could, get to know and get connected with those folks within your organization or within PS, because PS has all kinds of technical experts worldwide. Or if you want to get talk to your peers or the women friends and join the women in power, or you want to do all of it, you can try to do all the things in parallel. But eventually it will be overwhelming. Like your question, I only have these many hours and minutes within a day. How do I do that? So to me, at a different life stage, your needs will be different, and try to find out what are the kind of most burning needs that you have, and try to spend more time on that. And also talk to your folks around you. Says this is what I like to do. Say this year or next year, right? And please help me. And try to do more on that. And most of the people will help you. And like I said, PS is a support system. They can help you to meet your needs, to get the things you wanted to do. And also it's a kind of playground. You can try different things, get lost, and then if you don't like it, move on to try other different things within a company, within organization. You can still do that, but it's kind of limited because the 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 playing field is not that big. But PSIEEE is huge, so you can try different things. But like I said, or you can join your local community, not just your organization. Try different things, and once you pass that stage, going to the second or other stages, your needs might be different. Then you would just adjust your schedule and talk to your folks, let them know this. I mean, this year or next couple of years, this is something I want to try, and get their support and do it. And also, not only they support you, you want to support others do the same as well. Have this connection, no judgment, like I said earlier, right? And they support you and you support them. So we work together, and with that kind of a connection, I think everybody could be happy, either in professional organization or at the volunteer organization like PES, or at the family environment. Support each other.
True, true. That's a very valid point. And I really like your idea of trying out everything. If it doesn't work, just move on. You just need to have the courage to step in and do it. Just or at least try doing it. I really like that point. Thanks a lot, Jessica, for stressing it out. Uh, I have taken it as a valid one. And yeah.
Great.
So you can see that IEEE is everywhere. We see that the student members are really huge in number, but when it comes to the professional side, it's drastically reduced. At least in some parts of the region, you don't feel so. But then when you compare the number of students and young professionals, there's a lot of variation. Do you feel that it is important to have a professional membership in your career development? What additional value can it add?
Like I said, yeah, the at least for me, PS has been my supporting system. I connect with my PS friends all the time because they give me advice and guidance. And also, if I get into issues or the things I don't understand, I would connect with them. Um, in terms career move, in terms of technical questions. So we can sometimes we just go out, hang out together. So there are a lot of things. To me, I have my own families, right? And PS is kind of my second family. Of course, we don't have to be that way. Everyone is different. Um, but have the connection. If you look at the research papers, have that kind of connection always helps you kind of easily move to the next stage of your life. If you want to try different things and you want to get some suggestions, ideas, you can always talk to your PS friends, and especially at the professional level. The family member can do so much, right? They probably won't be able to advise you what the career path would be and how they can help you get there. But the PS friends and colleagues, they can help you because it's worldwide and covers all the areas. So I can, so to me, it's very, very important. And that's, I mean, if not just me, if you look at current PS, not PS, IEEE president, Kathy Land, President Land, she always said the same thing. Without IEEE, she would not be there. And if you look at other folks, Cipher, we have the PS, past president, Professor Simon Roman. He will be well, he actually is the president-elect this year. So if you talk to him, he probably will tell you the same thing. That's how the IEEE kind of shaped who he is, who we are as a leader, as a person, as a professional. So there are many things in terms the view, diversity, in terms ethics, in terms technical career. So you just get all kinds of things and from the professional association. So I would highly encourage you either join PES, IEEE, or join other professional associations. So just get connect with the folks in your industry, in your field.
I also agree. I think for us as IEEE members, IEEE is like it's there in our blood. So that has now become an integral part of our body and everything that we do. So all the things that we are doing gets connected with IEEE in some or the other way. That's
Yep,
what usually
I
happens, I
agree.
guess. Yeah.
That's right.
So, just a little off the track to ask. So, during my school and college days, I used to write quotes here and there in my room just to keep myself motivated. By seeing those quotes itself, I used to feel very happy. Even now, sometimes I do the same thing. Do you have any such quotes that inspired you so much?
Yeah, the one I mentioned earlier, I of course like through different stage. I think for this particular the talk you folks the women empower young professional. I think I wanted to kind of answer your question with this quote: "We rise by lifting others.
Mhm.
We rise by lifting others." So
That's what.
we, yes, we lifting others first, then at the same time we rise. We rise together. That's the quote I like a lot.
I kind of started getting reflected from that as well. So it gives a positive energy when we hear people encouraging us and also helping us in getting up and also climbing up this ladder. So that's a real motivation, right?
Yep.
And yeah, Jessica, we know that power and energy sector is very diverse. There are quite a lot of opportunities in this field. You already covered few major ones today. So it might be hard to say the exact skill sets needed to succeed in the sector, but for young professionals who are in this field or who wish to start their career in this field, what are the key skills that they should possess? It could be technical or non-technical.
Yeah, I would say they are equally important. We have to have some technical knowledge, right, to do our work. Um, and also on the soft skill side, I would say always put yourself in others' shoes. That has helped me a lot. So I don't feel that I'm right all the time. I can see their perspective. I can understand why they think that way, why they think their ideas, perspective is different from mine. So once I got that, I feel either, well, I can understand where they came from. I don't feel the urge to say, okay, my ideas is the only idea. I don't have that anymore. So we try to look at the constraints we have, the resources, and look at options. And we also look at pros and cons for each option. That way we can calmly to make our decision based on the facts and based on the constraints that we have. So I think that's the, if you ask me the only one, that's one that has helped me a lot So I would say that would be the one. Put yourself in others' shoes all the time, and to think this is my idea, but the others have good views as well. And if I'm thinking like they're thinking, I probably would come up with the same idea. So all the ideas valid, and you want to make them to be seen, valued, and heard. And that is the skill to build consensus and move forward. You can use that at your workplace, doing the projects, right? And at any other place, even at the family settings.
Hmm. Okay, I think there's always at least one key takeaway from whatever that you're saying. So I'm quite happy to hear and also help the others as well understand and get to know what they should be doing at every stage. It's not just about the family or the profession, be it in their personal life, in the technical side or non-technical side. So I think whatever questions that I've asked you, I feel really happy and contented to know that there is always a takeaway point from whatever that you have said. Thank you so much for that.
Sure, yeah. So in summary, it's not like my idea is a better idea. All the ideas are good ideas. And it's just right, it's what are the pros cons for now. So if we settle on that, and we can do so much together.
Yeah, definitely yes. And as you said, there's nothing called as right or wrong in this. So when you talk to different people and understand different perspectives, I think that helps in widening your thinking, and this helps in improving your decision making skills as well. That's
Absolutely, yes.
my personal feel. But I hope every young professional or even senior professionals do feel the same. Before closing the session, if you can give some final remarks on how young engineers can utilize the opportunities in power and energy sector, what do you think they should be doing in order to help create a sustainable world?
Yeah, I would say just kind of think outside of the box, because particularly now, like you said, it's kind of digital era, so we try to bring a lot of new disciplines into our traditional industry, the power and energy industry. So it takes all of us, not just engineering discipline, to make a better future. I mean, just look at the nature. There's no like math, right? It's all comes together. So I think when we just working in our field, to be very mindful about other disciplines, and they could help us. And so we like to have the young professionals and all the folks just graduated or just about to graduate think, even if you're not studying power and energy, if those courses, and it doesn't mean you cannot come to help us to build better grid. So think about the overall things. We all connected with the nature, with the society. So if we come together and bring all the technologies, and then also different perspective into our industry, I think we will flush. I mean, we will blossom. We will get to the better future at much faster pace, because it takes
Thank you.
technology, policy, um, policymakers, regulators, environmentalists, everything together to think creatively on how we can adapt and have a reliable electricity. So those all the things have to come together, and the quicker that we get together, work on things, and we will get to the better tomorrow faster.
Rightly said. Thank you, Jessica, for your valuable insights. I could still talk with you for more hours, but we are running a little late. So I hope, uh, and I'm really sorry to say that we will have to uh, quite wind up for now. Thank you so much once again for spending your time, especially on a New Year day, and that too while traveling. Uh, I know it's really a valuable time for you, and I'm too very much thankful for you accepting our invitation to be on this WIP FM 113.0. Uh, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us.
Thank you. Happy New Year again.
Yeah. So thank you, viewers. Happy New Year once again. Have a wonderful and joyful year ahead. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.